Yes, I'm wearing my pajamas in the middle of the year, and they are Christmas pajamas, yes. And that is because it's cold in my studio right now, and these are the softest thing I own, and they're yummy, and it also has a hood, and I have bad hair today, so there you go. I wanted to just catch you up on a few things because some of you have not followed me over to my new channels, Sandy Draws and Sandy Paints, and there's some fun stuff going on over there. Sandy Draws for the month of June, I am going to be doing daily, did I say daily? Videos, daily shorts. And I'm going to be talking about drawing. I'm going to provide a really simple photo for you every day so you can get some drawing practice in. And you'll hear all about that in the full length video that's on Sandy Draws right now today. Secondly, I had someone ask me a question recently. She was wondering, how much are you supposed to draw before you start painting? Yes, a painter was asking me about drawing. So I also have a snail that I painted, and I talk about 7 different ways that I include drawing at various stages of my paintings. And that might really be helpful for you if you're wondering how to get all the drawing done. And then I'm going to share with you the entire sketchbook for alcohol marker jumpstart, because if you haven't been watching, maybe you don't even know there is a brand new class for alcohol marker users. Last but not least, a DIY sketchbook. It's a vertical video, I apologize for that, in which I show you how to make your own sketchbook out of one big sheet of paper. In this particular one, it's done with drawing paper, but you can do the very same thing with watercolor paper because several of people have asked me lately, where is your video on how to do a DIY sketchbook? And I have not been able to find it. So apparently I didn't name the video properly, so I have no idea where it is. So whether you're using watercolor paper or drawing paper, you can use that particular video in order to make it. It's very easy. All right, let's go watch the sketchbook flip through. The marker airbrush jumpstart class is either a full course or part 1 and part 2. So you can take just part 1 or just part 2 or everything. And the pre-class lesson for both of them includes troubleshooting to get your marker airbrush to work well, a color list in a couple different versions. And then the level 1 starts with color wheel, very much basics of color. We do a lot of mixing of neutrals. We do an entire grid full of colors. You get 144 colors out of just 12 markers in this course. And while you can use some Ohuhus or Olo markers, and I do some demos with them, I also can recommend if you just want to buy 12 Copic markers and use it with the Copic airbrush gun, you certainly can. I've got some examples here that you can see of different brands and how they look. Because if you're using a brand where you're going to be airbrushing with the brush nib, you're going to end up getting a lot of kind of granulation. You get a lot of spattering going on, which can be very beautiful. And sometimes you intentionally want to create that. But if that bothers you, then you can just get a couple of Copic markers and you only need 12, which is kind of cool. You can do all the projects in this class using just 12 colors. So we do a lot on color theory in the first part of the class. Then we get to the second half of class in which we start working with photos and trying to use those for inspiration on creating something that looks a little more realistic, though blurry, because marker airbrush is just an imprecise tool. And so focusing on things that are blurry and then adding elements to them that are a little less blurry, adding a foreground element starts to give context to things. So we'll be exploring a whole lot using different photographs. I have some demo images that I don't necessarily think a beginner is going to want to paint, but in each lesson, there's a beginner type of image and then something a little more advanced. So you almost get 2 classes in one. So this one, which I painted upside down by accident with my markers, the one on the left is a very easy bokeh. And then on the right, I show you in more context how bokeh can play into an actual more realistic scene.
And like I said, each one you get a more beginner lesson and then something more advanced. So you can always retake the class, just go back through the lessons again later on after you have more experience to do some of the more intricate types of things. So there's a couple of them where we're going to use the photos themselves to make masks. The second half of the class is all about masks in different types. We're going to do paper tearing. We're going to do post-it note types of masking. I'm even going to show you some other types of masking that I don't necessarily recommend for a beginner, but so you can see the materials in order to create it. I'll show you how to create that kind of dreamy look in airbrush, which is so much fun. This one is kind of an experiment to look at something more realistic versus something much more artistic, and trying a whole different look at the kind of pieces that you can make with an airbrush. The picture on the left, there's no video for. The footage disappeared, but I do include a discussion of how it was made, so you can use airbrush for your Christmas cards. And there's also some stamping in here in this particular lesson. I show you two different types of masking film that you can use and how those two differ and whether or not you think you want one or the other. I'm going to recommend getting the cheaper one first, and then if you want to get the more expensive one and try fancier things, you'll hear some discussion about the pros and cons of that. But don't bother getting that until you've decided that you actually want to explore that. And then this one, just a little peaceful piece that uses a couple different types of masking, couple types of airbrush in order to create a beautiful, beautiful scene that you can do from a photograph. You can trace things, and I'll show you how to do that in this course. This marker painting is a bonus lesson in the full course. So if you get the full thing, you get that one as well that shows you a different type of masking. But you can also just take the portion of the class that has color theory in it, or you could take the portion of the class that just does masking. So if you're already experienced in one or the other, you can just take a half a class. All right, I hope to see you in class soon. I'm going to show you how to make your very own sketchbook. It's going to be an accordion sketchbook made of one sheet of paper, and that's all it's going to cost you. So go to your art store and get a big sheet. This happens to be 19 by 24 drawing paper. You can also do a sheet of watercolor paper, which is like 22 by 30. The size of the sheet is going to determine the size of the pages. And you'll see what I mean as we go. So you're going to fold it in half again, so that you end up with 4 strips going across. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to flatten it out and fold it the other direction so that you have the same thing going across both ways. You're going to have 4 blocks across and 4 blocks down. And then you're going to make sure that your creases are well creased, not overly creased because you want some of them to stay together. You're going to tear along 3 of them down one side. If you want a horizontal sketchbook, you'll tear in one direction, vertical, you'll tear in the other. But you're only going to go down 3. You're going to leave that last one attached. Flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. And if you think of this as making a giant M or a giant W, depending on which direction you're looking at it from, you'll tear the center one, and you're going to tear that down the middle, but you're still only going to go down 3 blocks because you want this whole thing to fold down into a ginormous zigzag accordion. So take your first page, fold it over, and then when you get to the end, you'll have to flip it so it goes the other direction. Just flip it whatever seems natural, flip it again, then keep going. And you will end up with a sketchbook that has 4 pages across, 4 pages down. That's 16 pages. And if you can draw on both sides, you have a 32-page sketchbook. If you put a cover on it, like I'm doing, cut mine just a little bit bigger than the pages, put some adhesive on it, then you'll end up with a little bit less pages because, of course, one's going to be covered by the cover. But in the end, your sketchbook is going to have 2 sides to it. So you can flip it the other direction. You will have some secret pages because of the turning of the sketchbook, but you can also draw on those. And then you can put a label on it. I'm going to be using this for the Art Bundles for Good Drawing Challenge, which is kind of like a class in June 2026.
Registration for that class is now closed, but is free to participate in my June challenge. And you can either go over to watch all of it on Sandy Draws, or you can go over to artclasses.com/June. Yes, the month of June. And I will be posting all of the shorts and the reference photos and my sketches over there. And that's about it. I'm going to go see if I can make maybe a cup of tea or something and warm up a little bit. I'll see you later. Bye.